Welcome to the Tesla Economist. Please hit the thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. I want to go through everything that was mentioned on the earnings call, so there's a lot of good stuff here. Let's get started. Tesla delivered 500,000 cars last year, almost as many last year as the entire history, despite a seriously challenging 2020. The free cash flow is $2.8 billion after spending $3 billion on new factories and expenditures. In other words, if they cash cowed the company now, it would be doing around $6 billion a year, which would be a PE ratio of above 100. They have industry-leading gap margins. Automotive industry generally has very low margins, and Tesla is an exception. Almost at full production speed on Model Y at Fremont already. This was launched in March, so that's about 9 months to reach full capacity. They ramped Model 3 Shanghai to 5,000 cars a week and still growing rapidly. I'm not sure why they said this, as we know they produced over 22,000 cars in Shanghai in October 2020, and 5,000 cars a week is around 20,000 a month. Added the heat pump to all the vehicles, so that adds to the range for all the cars. Ramped to volume production the single-piece casting of Model Y. This is brilliant. In my opinion, the Gigapress is underrated. Giga Berlin and Texas expect to start production this year. Berlin is going to be amazing, and I can't wait for Austin. Tesla's battery factory in the Bay Area, the pilot plant, is large enough capacity to be the top 10 battery cell factories on Earth, despite it just being the pilot plant. The new S and X Plaid are in production now and will be delivered in February. First production car ever to go 0 to 60 under 2 seconds. I think they're saying it has third row seats for Model S to seat 7 people. Model S used to have third row seats in the past. New model is going to be $10,000 more. This makes customers who purchased the Model S last month feel much better. It also adds to margins. The extra profit is generally used to recoup the cost of the new production line, and it gives them more buffer for when competitors try to enter the market. Tesla can just slash their prices. Best car of any kind at any price available today. Despite the high price tag, it's just simply exceptional. The Bugatti with similar performance costs over $3 million. Do you get it? That's 1/30th of the price. Oh, and the Bugatti can only transport 2 people and doesn't play Netflix. There's 1,000 people in the FSD beta so far. Highly confident the car can drive itself with the confidence of a human this year. This is a very big deal. Elon does some back-of-the-envelope maths and says if Tesla is shipping 50 to 60 billion vehicles, the car's utility increases from 12 hours a week to 60 hours a week if they're capable of Robo-taxi. So that's 5x increase in utility. But even if it's twice as useful, and that would be doubling of the revenue of the company, which will be entirely gross margin. In other words, if you sell $50 billion of cars, that's $50 billion of extra revenue from the Robo-taxi, and with a PE ratio of 20, it gives a valuation of $1 trillion, according to Elon. But if they do 50 billion cars, what if they sell 20 million cars a year? And what about if utility is 5x and not 2x? And what about if the PE ratio is 50 and not 20? Well, 20 million cars sold at an average of $40,000 price per car equates to $800 billion a year. And if it's 5x utility, then it's $4 trillion a year. And if the PE ratio is 50 instead of 20, then that's a market valuation of $200 trillion. All those numbers check. Sounds like more predication for Elon's sandbagging, which, as some of you know, is a big theory of mine. 2021, going to be a great year for Tesla. Many new products coming out, factories starting production, making logistics much better with factory in Berlin and Texas, less capital tied up in transit. If you can reduce your inventory, then it adds hugely to the company. Steve Jobs did this with Apple. He managed to find a way to reduce the stock dramatically, saving something like $400 million of tied up stock. I think he did it through just-in-time delivery, but you get the idea. Factories on each continent and 2 factories in Europe. That's an extra factory they've just announced. At a quick guess, possibly UK. There's good human capital there, and they already know how to build cars. Large car market, they're an expensive gas, and cars are more expensive in the UK than the continent. Cars are not the easiest thing to make, and that's why they tend to be made in more developed countries, as they do require competent labour still, like US, Japan, Germany, UK, Italy. Margins were impacted by converting the new Model S and X Fremont lines, the gigapress expenditure launching the single pieces casting on Model Y, introducing heat pump on Model 3, logistics and labour costs due to the supply chain instability issues from the pandemic. Adjusting for items such as these, they saw an improvement in auto gross margins. The adjustment is all that matters. It's a shame they didn't tell us the margin, but I expected them to be reaching not far off 30% by this stage. But that's all that matters, the actual gross margin per car. If that's still increasing, then it's amazing. OPEX as a percentage of revenue continues to drop. Long-term volume increases of 50%, but may exceed this in 2021. Well, at least they're being honest, but I think may is still a weak description. It's exceedingly likely. Global demand continues to outpace production. Yes, Tesla still has no demand problems. Next came the questions. What is holding Tesla back from being the market leader in solar? Tesla expect to become the market leader in solar and then exceed it. The company needed to focus on Model 3 production and use the solar engineers to help with the car. Now they're concentrating on it again, and it won't be long until they are the market leader. FSD will not be transferable to another car, but subscription is coming out in a month or two. Dry coating progress update. Confidence is increasing in the dry coating process. 10 gigawatt hours at Quito, on track for full production. Enough confidence to build the facilities and equipment to support the 100 gigawatt hertz 2022 goal. Okay, FYI, 100 gigawatt hertz of batteries is around roughly 1.5 million cars. In other words, next year, Tesla's new battery production alone will generate an extra 1.5 million cars, in addition to whatever other batteries they are also sourcing. Why confident on level 5 autonomy this year, and why Dojo not necessary? Tesla has so much training data. Dojo is the best neural net training computer by possibly an order of magnitude. We're not going to keep it to ourselves. Offer as a service if others need other neural net training. This was a little bit ambiguous. Is he offering the FSD to other manufacturers, or is he offering the neural net for AI training? Either way, that's a new product Tesla will be offering. Getting reliability from 100% to 200% better than an average human, and aiming for 1000% to 2000% better than an average human for FSD. The 4680 battery production. In regards to the S-curve of production, you can be off a little bit and make much of a difference, and then the following month will increase it a lot more than next. Elon says they don't see any showstoppers. In other words, no reason they won't be able to deliver on their targets. Tesla had a reputation for outstanding customer service, but not so much anymore. And they say they are improving the quality of the cars, and as a result, over the last 2 years, the frequency of service visits are reduced by 1/3. So the better quality cars they make, then the servicing necessary will be less. Unlike traditional autos, Tesla are not interested in making cars that need servicing. Tesla is all about the Robo-taxi and need to make the cars as robust and reliable as possible. They say they increase mobile service to 50%, and 50% of the services take less than 2 hours. Service appointment improving. 140 service centers in North America. From 100 of those, you can get an appointment in less than 10 days. All communications should go through the app and move away from the phone. It's better in every way with a lot more features. What other milestones are there to complete to get to level 5 autonomy? All neural nets of the car need to change to video, gathering video clips, surrounded video, instead of single camera sync frame, upgrade from still image to surround camera video with time dimension, getting it done and seeing results from FSD beta already, and will include beta rollout more. So this means the neural net will be learning from a 360-degree video rather than a still image from a camera, which is obviously amazing and giving so much more data. Does Tesla plan or expect to license software FSD or auto bidder to third party? Elon says, we're very open to licensing our software to third party. We've had preliminary discussion about licensing Autopilot to other OEMs. Still need more work to prove it's capable, but happy to license it to other companies. not trying to keep it an exclusive Tesla situation. Same for Autobidder. Tesla philosophy is not to create walled gardens. They're allowing other companies to use their supercharger networks. Bear in mind, when you factor in robo-taxis, when it takes off, all other elements of the business are dwarfed. It's just so incredibly profitable. So perhaps it would suit Tesla's business model to offer FSD robo-taxi to other manufacturers, as it's the robo-taxi income that matters more than the sale of the cars. But it looks like Tesla are going to be the Apple iOS and the Android of automotives. Difference in product strategies in China and the rest of the world. Elon says they're currently the leader in the Chinese EV market. Best-selling electric car in China. Very few of the customers in China order FSD, perhaps 1 or 2%, much lower than the rest of the world. Chinese are the most discerning customers in the world, and Elon is confident they will buy FSD when it's working well. That's great that Tesla are now the best-selling car in China. Is it fair to argue the best way to think of the company's long-term earning power is tied to profit per unit of battery capacity? 3 terawatt-hours target implies from battery day that half the batteries go to storage. Elon says, it's about the output of batteries in gigawatt hours, but also efficiency on range you can get on the battery pack. Tesla does its own cell production in order to accelerate growth. It's not there to make less use of our cell suppliers. Tesla wants to increase purchase from their cell suppliers, CATL, Panasonic and LG Chem. We will take as many batteries as they can produce. Tesla are urging them to increase their battery production, and Tesla will buy as many as they can send to them. This is to supplement their suppliers, not replace them, take them to a level of where they are unable to increase their production. Like I keep saying, Tesla just need as many batteries as they can. Considering Tesla will order more from their suppliers than anyone else, that makes Tesla their best customer, likely giving them advantages and priorities over the competitors. Even if the prices are the same for the competitors, when they use the same batteries, the competitors still can't get the same efficiencies. This was a huge buy order from Tesla to all other battery companies. It would be scary if I was an EV company also looking for batteries. Where are you in Cybertruck development, and what are your expectations for Cybertruck development in 2021? Elon says, bigger casting machines for the rear body of the Cybertruck, 8,000-ton casting press compared to a 6,000-ton on the Model Y, a few deliveries this year if they get lucky, volume production to be 2022. So Cybertruck sounds like it might be a little bit behind, no big deal, it's not like anyone else is coming close to anything similar. Regulatory FSD, work with regulators to show really high reliability. Europe will be a bit more tough. China shows interest on working with level 4 and level 5 later this year. Leadership in the US to show really good reliability. This is promising. It's just going to be all about data that they can show the governments and how much safer their cars are with FSD. Governments want their citizens to work and pay taxes, not die in car accidents. So they will come around when the data is right. Governments also want robo-taxis as it will help the economy due to cheaper transport. Translation, more tax income again. Can suppliers build 4680 cells? Elon says, no, it's not required, although talking to them about making the 4680 form factor. The new S uses the 18650 form factor. Eventually we'll retire the old ones over time and have a consistent form factor, but not a requirement we place on our suppliers. So the new S is still using the 18650 batteries. I'm shocked at that. Although presumably the Plaid or Plaid S is using the 4680s. Unsure at this stage. But they will eventually all want to move to a universal form. But in the meantime, Tesla will take any form of batteries anyone can supply. So is there human capacity limiting growth? When you need 20,000 people to work in a factory, you can't just hire them overnight. It does take time. Growth rate in excess of 50% for many more years to come. This year will be above 50%, and so will next year. So they are saying that they'll be growing faster than 50% for the next 2 years at least. My guess, closer to 100%. It's a pretty big deal. Will Tesla be making electric vans? Elon says Tesla will definitely be making an electric van at some point. There had been rumours of a Tesla electric van before, but I believe this is a new Tesla vehicle confirmed. There are still constraints on battery output. They can make the Semi now, but the batteries can be used better elsewhere. Semi uses 5 times as many batteries as a car, but doesn't sell for 5 times as much as a car. The new Tesla chip. Version 1 is good enough FSD already. Version 2 will be 3 times as powerful, which can be paired with high resolution cameras, similar to the Neo ET7. The chip is coming on well and in good shape. Since they can achieve FSD of the current system, it will be a distraction if they introduce the FSD chip too. It's an improvement, but not a game changer. And then they're asking about the cheaper Tesla. Elon says he's confident in achieving these targets in 3 or 4 years, still on trajectory of Battery Day, confident at doing at least at what was presented on Battery Day. I thought the compact car was going to come out around 2023, but 3 or 4 years is around 2024 to 2025. So that's somewhat disappointing if that's the case. Elon as the CEO. Elon says he expects to be the CEO for several more years still. Well, that's a relief. It sounds like Elon is going to stick around long enough to see it through. Will Tesla Semi be the first Semi to achieve full autonomy? Not sure why Gene wants to ask this and why Elon didn't call him up on it being a bonehead question, but it's pretty obvious that the Tesla Semi will be the first autonomous Semi. So a bit of a wasted question, unfortunately. It would have been better to have asked if the new S and X had sailed a vehicle. Hydrogen is a fool's errand. Fuel cells add so much complexity. Propane would make much more sense. Yes, hydrogen is not going to be any competition to an EV. Sorry, Toyota. On the plus side, Toyota, if the Model 2 isn't coming out for 3 or 4 more years, then you get to live that much longer. Thanks for listening. Please hit the thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe.